And can you just promote everyone, please, Irene?
Good afternoon, Commission members and members of the public. In opening today's meeting, I wish to make a brief statement. This afternoon's meeting of the Commission is to determine a Form 17C application seeking to amend an aspect of the approval issued by the Commission as a significant development under Part 17 of the Planning Development Act on the 28th of October 2021. Part 17 grants the Commission temporary decision-making powers to determine proposals that can generate investment in the state to assist with economic recovery as we respond to the global COVID-19 pandemic. A major premise of Part 17 of the legislation is that it bestows upon the Commission a perceived unlimited level of discretion with respect to an application. I wish to point out that today the Commission is not being asked to exercise a discretion that would not normally be available to a decision maker. As with any planning application, the Commission has the option to approve the application, defer determination pending further information, or refuse the request to amend the application. I wish to advise observers that Commission members may refer to technical devices such as phones and laptops throughout the meeting to assist them in considering the information before them. This meeting is being live streamed and I welcome everyone that is logged on to the meeting today. The meeting is being recorded and will be available for viewing on the Commission's website and YouTube. On behalf of the Commission, the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage will respond to any media inquiries relating to this application or the process in consultation with the Office of the Minister for Planning. In opening the meeting, I acknowledge that we meet today on the traditional lands of the peoples of the Noongar Nation, and I pay our respects to their elders past and present. We move to item 1.2 of the agenda. We have three apologies. Commissioner Bennett, Commissioner Heron and Commissioner Hall. Attending in person today, myself, Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Sandry and Commissioner Brooks, and attending via Zoom, Commissioner Adair and Commissioner Lakey. Are there any applications for leave of absence, please? No, thank you. We move to item 1.3, disclosures of interest, and I have two disclosures of interest on item 4.1. Item 4.1 deals with the substantive report, lots 202, 203, 800 and 806, Belia Drive Success, an application to amend a development approval form 17, and we're being asked to consider an extension to substantial commencement period. I have a disclosure of interest from Commissioner Bennett. It's an indirect pecuniary interest. Commissioner Bennett advised that CLE act for the proponent parent on residential communities projects. Commissioner Bennett is not present in the meeting today. And on the same item, I have a disclosure of interest from Commissioner Heron. Again, it's an indirect pecuniary interest. Commissioner Heron is an employee of Urbis. Urbis has provided economic advice to the application, and Urbis represented Centre Group on the Burragoon expansion. Again, Commissioner Heron is not present today. Are there any other declarations of interest, please? No, thank you. We move to item 1.4, declaration of due consideration. Would all members indicate that they have received and considered the agenda ahead of today's meeting? Thank you. That brings us to item 2, deputations and presentations. And on the same item, we have a deputation from Murray Castleton, Andrew Byers and Bill Ashton. Thank you, Sam.
Good afternoon, Murray, Andrew and George. I believe George is connected. George, could I ask that you turn your video on so we may see you, please? There we go, and you'll appear on our screen. Thank you very much. So I welcome you all this afternoon to the West Australian Planning Commission. I understand you're here today to make a deputation on item 4.1 on the agenda. We don't propose to time you this afternoon, but ask that you manage your time accordingly in delivering your deputation and keep that to within 3 minutes. Over to you when you're ready. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the Planning Commission this afternoon. And look, I do apologise if there's the sound of hail and thunder in the background, but it just seems to have hit my house at the moment, so I apologise for that. With me online today, I have Andrew Byers from the Parent Group and George Ashton from our office. Following my deputation, we will be happy to respond to any questions that you may have. We appreciate the prompt manner in which the SDAU have dealt with the application to extend the substantial commencement period for the Coburn Quarter development and are supportive of the officer recommendation for approval. As you are no doubt well aware, there have been many delivery challenges across the whole of the property sector in recent years, which have impacted many projects, including Coburn Quarter. Parent Group and the extended project team have been working diligently in the background to refine the design of the development and to find feasible solutions that allow for the commencement of project delivery. The extension of time for 5 years will provide essential investment certainty and breathing space for Parent Group to finalise this process and to determine how best to deliver the project in the face of ongoing challenging market conditions. In this respect, the Commission can take comfort in the fact that Parent Group, a Western Australian company and permanent endowment for the Stan Perrin Charitable Foundation, have a demonstrated track record of delivering significant retail and commercial property developments in Western Australia and beyond. This has included substantial prior investment in Coburn Gateway and on their other retail and commercial assets across the Perth metropolitan area. The Coburn Quarter development is much anticipated by the local and wider Coburn community and is consistent with the desired future character for the Coburn Gateway site as a key, vibrant component of the Coburn Secondary Centre. Importantly, the approved development remains consistent with that envisaged under the applicable planning framework, including the Gateway's Precinct Local Structure Plan. We expect to come back to the SDAU and the Commission in due course to pursue a further amendment to the approval, to modify the design and staging of the proposed shopping centre works, and to then move forward into the project delivery phase. Thank you, and we look forward to responding to any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Murray. Commission members, are there any questions, please, of Murray? No questions. Thank you. That brings us to item 3, a presentation of key issues by the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage. And Paola is going to give us a brief presentation on this matter. Thank you, Paola.
Good afternoon. The application before the Commission seeks to extend the substantial commencement timeframe for the approved shopping centre expansion for the site known as Coburn Gateway Shopping Centre, which was originally approved by the WAPC in 2021. Public and stakeholder consultation was undertaken in accordance with the established process for Part 17. Public concerns expressed that given the development had not progressed in the 3 years since approval, an extension of only 2 years should be granted to encourage the developer to commence work. Other concerns were raised in relation to the impact of overall development on the surrounding properties and the locality. The full content of these submissions have been made available by to the Commission, so the Commission is not solely relying on the summary of these in the report. The City of Coburn was consulted and advised concerns relating to the substantial commencement, recommending separate substantial commencement dates for stages 1 and 2. This was consistent with their earlier advice as part of the original application. The concerns relate to the staging of the project and when key deliverables will be achieved. The Commission addressed this as part of the original application, with staging plans forming part of the approved plans of the determination. The City has also advised that Local Planning Scheme number 3 was amended in October 2023 to require additional shade trees to be planted in at-grade car parking. This has been considered in the assessment and has been reflected in recommended condition 10 of today's recommendation. The assessment of the proposal, as outlined in the report, has been informed using the following guiding principles, including whether modifications, regardless of the nature, have occurred to the planning framework since the development approval was granted, whether the development is capable of being approved, and whether the holder of the development approval has actively and relatively conscientiously pursued the implementation of the development approval. For several reasons have been cited by the applicant for the development not progressing to substantial commencement within the 36-month approval period, including escalating costs of construction, ongoing labour shortages, securing of appropriate contractor to undertake the proposed work, noting the withdrawal of a number of Tier 1 or Tier 2 builders. The applicant has provided documentation demonstrating the steps that have been undertaken to implement the approval, affirming the proponent's ongoing commitment to the project. This has included investigating and quantifying impacts of development approval outside of the centre, developing modified concept drawings in response to conditions affecting development feasibility, and obtaining adapt approval for the pedestrian bridge over Belia Drive, which forms a conditional requirement of the Stage 1 works. The Stage 1A detailed project delivery timeframe has been submitted in support of the amendment, which details the completion of Stage 1A works within 5 years. It's recommended a 5-year substantial commencement period be granted to align with the project delivery timeline. There have been no changes to the planning framework that alter the zoning or built form requirements applicable to the development site since approval was granted, except for the amendment as already referred to. The application does not seek to change any of the approved land uses or alter any other conditions of approval. The reasons the Commission supported the original application remain valid and therefore the development remains capable of approval. The application has been assessed against the applicable planning framework and the relevant matters set out under Part 17 of the Planning and Development Act. And it's been demonstrated that the 5-year timeframe is reasonable to ensure that the project can be delivered in a timely manner and allowing for some unforeseen delays. The substantial commencement period recommended in Condition 1 specifies a on or before date rather than a generic 24 months, rather than a generic period, and this provides clarity and certainty on the timeframe to satisfy the condition in the future. As the report outlines, the proposed extension is supported and can be reasonably approved under Part 17.
Thank you. Could you very briefly touch on the amended Condition 10?
Amended Condition 10 has been updated to reflect the submission of an updated landscaping plan. And this is to allow for the additional at-grade car parking areas to be captured to require the additional tree planting as required by the subsequent amendment to the scheme.
Thank you very much. Commission members, are there any questions, please, of Paola? Thank you, Commissioner Sandry.
Thank you, through the chair. Just to confirm that Condition 10, that the applicant was satisfied with that condition. I probably should have asked the applicant when they presented, but
through the chair, the draft conditions and since the agenda has been published, the applicant has confirmed no objection to the conditions.
Thank you. Any further questions, please, of Paola? No, thank you. Thank you very much, Paola. That brings us to item 4 and 4.1, the application to amend the development approval for Cockburn Central, an extension to the substantial commencement period. Commissioners, we have a recommendation before us. Do I have any foreshadowed amendments to that recommendation? No, thank you. Do I have a mover and a seconder that we adopt the recommendation, please? Moved by Commissioner Cole, seconded by Commissioner Brooks. Is there any discussion on the item? If not, is there any dissent to that recommendation? No, thank you very much. That has been passed as per the recommendation. Thank you. We move to item 5, State Administrative Tribunal applications, and we note that there are 4 applications with the tribunals, 17 decisions. The residential and commercial building at 22 St Quentin Avenue, Claremont, the renewable energy facility, the wind farm at Flat Rocks, the proposed partial demolition of the existing buildings and construction of a new mixed-use development at Bayview Terrace in Claremont, and lot 1001, 120 Claysbrook Road, Perth, the continued operation of the Wholesome Concrete Batching Plant. So those are the 4 applications before the tribunal. We move to item 6. Is there any other business, please? No, thank you very much. That brings us to item 7, the closure of the meeting. So I'd like to thank everyone, including those people online, for joining us today at the meeting, and declare the meeting closed. Thank